Welcome to the Real Estate Wholesale Deal Room. This particular podcast, I break down all things real estate wholesaling, from different strategies, how to get them done, how to be creative about certain strategies, and how you can make money as a real estate wholesaler. I am not going to be giving you any type of financial advice, understand that, but I will be teaching you everything that you need to know to be a successful real estate wholesaler. I am Ebony Biko, your mortgage strategist and real estate investor, as well as a mentor to thousands of students across the country. And in this podcast, this is a safe space where I will be talking all things wholesaling. So you will learn different real life wholesaling scenarios, real estate, different transaction, and actually how to structure deals, especially in a market where it's very competitive. So what I want to do is talk about what is real estate wholesaling? Well, here's the thing. When it comes to real estate wholesaling, it's about finding opportunities before everyone else does, locking those opportunities in with a contract, and then assigning the contracts to another investor for profit. So here's the thing. You're not going to be guessing. You're not gambling. You're solving problems. You're looking for that distressed seller that needs a solution, because you are a solution-driven individual. You are looking for investors who need deals. That's a solution. And so when you connect the two the right way, that's where the money is made. So here's the thing, and this is something really important that a lot of people will not tell you. It's not just about finding deals. It's not just about knowing how to structure them. It's about understanding financing. It's about building relationships with realtors, with lenders like myself, and investors. That is the difference between someone that is doing random deals and someone who's building a wholesaling business. So this is exactly what we're going to do here in this particular podcast today. Let's do this again. Real estate wholesaling. Real estate wholesaling is when you find a property at a discounted price. You put it under contract and then sell that contract to another buyer, usually an investor. That's also going to be the person you're going to assign the contract to, because once you get it under contract, you are going to be the assignor who's going to assign the contract to an assignee for profit. Now, remember, you're not actually buying the property. You're controlling the deal and getting paid for finding the deal. You're getting paid for finding a property. So how it's actually going to work when it comes to real estate wholesaling? Straight to the point, you're going to find a motivated seller. From there, you're going to lock the property under contract. But let's go back to finding a motivated seller. These are going to be the owners who need to sell fast. They're behind on their payments. It's an inherited property. They don't want to be bothered with it. It's vacant or distressed home because maybe it's an inherited property. That person may live in Louisiana. The property's in California. They have tenants that they're just tired of. Or once again, it's an inherited property that has tenants in there and they was never trying to be a landlord. This is where the money is made, finding the deal. Now, number two, you want to lock the property under contract. This is what a wholesaler does, okay? You want to negotiate a below market value property. You want to make sure that the property is below the market price. Here's why. Because if it's below market price and you've already done your comparables and you know that can be definitely worth the value, you want to definitely put that property under contract and you want to sign that agreement. Now, let me give you an example. Market value is $250,000. You get it under contract at $180,000. You next assign the contract to a buyer. That buyer is your investor. You sell your contract to the real estate investor for a fee. So whether you want to sell them the contract for a fee or you want to assign the contract for an assignment fee. Here's another example. You assign it for $200,000. The investor still gets a deal. You make $20,000 for the assignment fee. Why? Because the property was valued at $250,000 based upon you getting your comparables. And after it's been rehabbed, you put it under contract for $180,000. You assign it. You assign that contract over for $200,000. You as the assignee or assignor is going to get an assignment fee as a wholesaler for $20,000. Now, let's go a little step further. Now it's time to close the deal. When you get ready to close the deal, the end buyer closes on the property. You get paid at the closing. Why investors love wholesalers? Because number one, they get off-market deals. Off-market deals is really important because, say for an example, as an investor, you bought that property for below market value. Let's say that $180,000 or that $200,000, right? You bought it below market value, but at the end of the day, you know that you could possibly sell that property for $500,000. A lot of times, as a real estate investor, you're in buyer as a real estate investor, not wholesaler. The person's going to buy that property. They're going to kind of feel some type of way and look at you sideways like, I'm not paying $500,000 for this property when he or she purchased it for $180,000 for $200,000. So with that being said, this keeps everybody out your business. The only time that they usually generally find out how much you pay for their property is when they're getting that deal underwritten, and then there is a title that is done on the property. That end buyer does not look at the title. Their mortgage company usually sees the title. They don't even care about what that title says. All they care about is that they can get this deal closed. So the only person initially going to see how much you pay for that property in the initial beginning, because it hasn't quite hit public records in full yet, whereas somebody's going to Zillow and Trulia and being nosy, is that underwriter. Because what they did was a chain of title. And when they did that chain of title, it shows how many people own the property and if there was any mortgages on there. So if there were, or it liens on there, if it hasn't been recorded, guess what? You're in the clear. And that's why a lot of times investors do not want to purchase a property that is already listed on the MLS. Once it's listed on the MLS, it's public data. So just know that this is why investors love wholesalers, because they actually get off-market deals. Plus, it saves them time in marketing themselves, trying to go out there and get this stuff done. It's easier for them because they rely on you as the wholesaler, that you know your stuff, you know your areas, and then understand when it comes to real estate agents or realtors, it's really important to know that when they're working with a real estate investor, they can't actually technically say, hey, don't buy in the neighborhood because it sucks. Hey, don't buy in the neighborhood because there's a lot of crime. As a wholesaler, you're a wholesaler, right? You are the person that's just connecting people together. You're just making it happen. You're really not you have no true interest in this property, but you have an interest in that contract. So you can be honest and say, hey, of course this is a decent deal, because if it wasn't, I wouldn't have, put this property under contract. You can almost say what you want to ethically within reason, because you are not bound by the same rules and regulations and laws as a realtor. Understand that. Now, why wholesaling is so popular, because it's a low barrier to entry, no need for your own cash in many cases, no credit is required to start. It's a fast way to learn real estate investing as a whole, outside of going through me. So the real truth is, most people won't tell you this, but I'm going to keep it real with you. It's not easy money. It's a marketing and negotiation business, but you have to love how to market. You have to love sales. You have to love how to deal with people and negotiate. Don't get into real estate wholesaling because, oh, my friend makes a lot of money. Oh, my boy makes a lot of money. Oh, I heard on YouTube, or I heard on, I don't know, TikTok or social media that all of these influencers are making a lot of money. That is not true. I'm notorious for saying, if they so-called make all of this money, and no, you may not know them personally, I don't care about just looking at the followers. That don't mean anything. People could buy followers all day long. I care about, can you Google that person? Can you see that their name is all over the place? Does it feel like that they are reputable, that they're actually running a business? Because if you want to be a real wholesaler, this should be your business. You should have your website, your professional website. And I'm going to have a link for you to not just have any professional website, but a website specifically for real estate marketing, real estate wholesaling, real estate investors. That is going to be your lead landing page to get more business. Because like I said, real estate wholesaling is about marketing, and it's about negotiation, and it's about you being seen. If you're not being seen, guess what? People are not going to do business with you, because people do business with people they trust. People buy from people they trust. You also need a strong deal analysis, right? And if you don't have a strong deal analysis, at least have those skills or know how to use certain type of analyzers. If you are looking for an analyzer to use for your specific type of property that you're trying to wholesale, please feel free to reach out to me, send me an inbox. I can give you all the wholesaling analyzer tools that I use. Building a buyer list is everything. So this is really important. You must understand your state laws because every state law is different. Now, one of the things that I get people ask me a lot that, is wholesaling legal? Yes, it's legal. And that's another subject that we'll talk about later. But the whole goal is for you to understand real estate wholesaling is about finding the deals. It's about controlling the deals. It's about getting paid for connecting the right buyer to the right property and the right opportunity. The right buyer is your real estate investor. That is going to be your assignee. That's going to be technically your partner on contract. So when it comes to real estate investing and becoming a wholesaler, it is extremely important that you understand just really your marketing skills, your networking skills, not being afraid to go out there and just put yourself out there and build your brand online. Because when it comes to real estate wholesaling, something important that I have to emphasize, you can virtual wholesale. I have one of the #1 wholesaling courses online for virtual wholesaling, and one of the first few that had that course. So with that being said, I'm not here to sell a course. I'm here to let you know what can be done. So this is what I need you to do. If you're serious about learning how to wholesale or want to start working with real estate investors and wholesalers at a higher level, make sure you subscribe, stay tapped in, and just don't listen. I want you to apply everything that I am teaching you from all of these different videos. And if you're ready to actually take true actions and just go to the next step, structure your deals, get funding lined up, or build relationships within a wholesaling space, go ahead and connect with me directly. You can send me an inbox message. I always respond. You can also schedule a one-on-one meeting with me online. The link is going to be in the description. If you are looking for any type of loans when it comes to mortgage loans or for your real estate investors, because one of the best tools that a wholesaler can have is to know where to find the money at for their real estate investors. What good is having a real estate investor who, guess what? They don't even have the freaking financing lined up. It doesn't mean that they don't have the money. They just don't have the financing. And a lot of times some real estate investors think wholesalers know everything. So with that being said, they can go, or you can go for them, to www.homeloansnetwork.com. And then there is apply there, but then there's also a lot of other information about just different type of loans in itself. So with that being said, I am Ebony Biko. I am your real estate wholesale mortgage strategist. I want you to be able to have the knowledge to turn these deals into real income. This is the Real Estate Wholesale Deal Room, and we're just getting started right now.